Hello and welcome back to Let's Go Sailing. In this episode we're going to be sorting out the boom and getting a kicker attached. And at the end of the episode we've got a few time lapses of me putting the sails up. Now we've got round the boom furling, so the sail actually goes round the outside of the boom. So the boom has to spin and the sail goes round the outside. But that means at the end, where the topping lift goes and also the main sheet, has to be like a swivel at the end that spins. Now we have the end fitting that was on this boom. It's probably had some sort of swivel on it. I'll put a picture up now that actually shows a design that's been used for this. But we've got this, and I'm going to make this work for now until I can find one of those fittings or make something or design something to suit. But for now, I'm actually just going to make another piece of metal like this. But a bit longer, so it just goes at the top and bottom for the topping lift, and then the main sheet. I'm gonna have to extend this out, and so I've got one side for the main sheet and one for the topping lift, because temporarily for the test sail I had that on there. So for this one I'm literally gonna extend this out another side so it extends, but then because it's slightly raised, I've got this big stainless steel washer from when I did the trailer. I've got loads of them. It just spaces it up just enough so that I could have that go across like that, and it just and then I put a split pin and washer, and it just adds a little bit more leverage and surface area, opposed to if I had it like this. The amount of leverage that's pushing on that little pin would be quite a lot, and I don't really want to do that. I want to see if I can make it last for quite a long time before I actually get something made up properly. I've done a little test. I've set up roughly what I'm going to have, just one-sided, and you can see the clearance down where this rope is and the little block is. I'm going to have to extend this plate out a little bit, so I just move the bend, maybe make it a little bit longer, see what length I can get out of that, and just have it extend around, because when this spins around, like it will do when I'm furling the boom, that will have to have enough clearance to actually spin round. I have to find another piece of stainless because these two sheets were too short for what I needed to actually get the right length out of this piece here. You space that out, I need to be like 2.5 times longer than what this piece was, so I should be able to get that out of this slightly longer piece. Could almost get 3 out of that, so this would be perfect. So I just drew this Sharpie line on by eye, just by running my finger along the side of it. I've just got my lines put on. This would be the centre pin hole for, where's it gone? For this mount here, so you can see where the pin is. That's where that hole is going to be, and then either side is my clearance lines. They're about 50mm from the pin each side, so that's 100mm, and then that's roughly, these two dots are roughly where I'm going to put the holes for each of the main sheet this end, and then the lifting hoist on that side. Put the lifting hoist in this side only because that nick, so the lifting hoist won't even have too much weight on it. It's literally only got the end of the boom, that weight. This is going to have all the sail weight, and it's going to have to deal with a lot more, so we'll give this a go. But if the worst does get to worst, we have got the old bracket here that we can throw on, and if worst really comes to worst, I've got this that I put on that doesn't interfere with any of the furling. So this is a good experiment, good fun to try. If it breaks, it breaks. It's not the end of the world. It's all part of the fun. Down over here somewhere. Excuse all the rubbish, it's quite productive recently, but as you can see there, if I hold this on there, we should be able to see it spin without interfering or contacting anything. So that is effectively all it's got to do. Spin like that. Shouldn't be too much force on it, which is good. But got to clean it up and drill the holes for the ends. Trim that end up as well, and then round the corners so you don't hurt yourself on this, because this is the boom and you don't want to hit your head at all. Right, we have the final solution now. I've drilled out the pinhole to, what is it, need to be 2.5mm. So drop the washer on, big washer. Then we get the plate and get that on that. Then we take another washer. Then we can take our pin, which isn't stainless steel, which should be, which I'm going to try and get hold of one, because the ones I have are the wrong size, I think anyway, but we'll see. Pin it off and then that just spins freely, and the tiniest bit of play in there, tiniest, so hopefully it doesn't affect it too much. If not, I'll have to shim it up a bit or something, but that should make the boom fail. Now, on the boom, the only thing left to do really is attach the kicking strap at the bottom. I just need to put it back on the boat, measure roughly where I've got to put it, and just do some rib nuts or something and bolt that on. Now I have the kicker strap. This is the bottom side of the boom at the front. This is where it attached to the gooseneck bit. These are the fitting I've got. Because we've got a round the boom furling system, we need something that isn't sharp and doesn't stick out too much. So basically, that will fit up on there. Just 2 bolts on each side. That'll fit up. Keeps quite a low profile to the boom itself. And then, if we put that on top for a second, we've got this little pin that goes the other way around. We've got a little pin that will just slot in there. You see that little pin which pulls up, and we'll attach the blocks for the kicker there, and then when we need to furl in or start the furl of the mast and the mainsail, you just unpin that and then you're good to go. And it's quite easy. You just release the tension on the kicker and then unpin that, and then you can furl it up. And then once you got furls in, you won't be able to have a kicker, but I mean, if you're furling the boom, it's going to be quite windy, so I won't be worried about it too much, having the perfect sail shape. The boom, as you can see here, pretty good clearance. Main sheet would attach down there to the track. I haven't got it out yet because we're just going to measure up for this kicker. But even now, if I get this, it actually turns really well. Doesn't even get hung up at all. So it's pretty perfect. As soon as you get the main sheet on there, I'll just hold it in the middle. I won't have to do this weird thing with my knee holding it. But yeah, handle works perfectly. And you just lock that off. Bob on. For the kicker, we're attaching it down here. I want more of a downward pull because I don't want put too much force through that. This is only going to be when the mainsail is fully up. But most of the time we're setting in nice conditions. But if we ever need to reef, we're just going to roll up the boom and set. So this is just pop out, so the pin will just slide and then drop out, and then we can furl up the boom like that. So I'm going to get this drilled on each side, and then I still need to get the kicker attachment, so I have to do that. I've got all the riv nuts put in, and these thread on really nicely. Just need to countersink the bracket. So I get my countersinker out and get that to the right countersink to match these bolts, and then I'll just bolt it on and we're good to go. That's the boom done, and nothing else to do on it. Right, I've just done the countersinking. These are the countersink bits that I've got. They're for stainless steel, which is perfect. So on this, I got the countersinks done, which fit out perfectly for the bolts. So now I can bolt that onto the boom that's over there. So I've got the kicker fitted up, all bolted up nicely. So just have to put it on the boat and get the actual pulley system for it. Right, my kicker just came in. What's this size? I think it's size 2 or something. This is 8mm line, I think, as well. So this is a 4:1 ratio. I'm just going to attach this onto the kicker and see if it fits and how well it's going to do. Just fitted it up. This zip tie right here is rated to at least 3/4 of a ton, I reckon. So that's good to go. Probably the strongest bit of this setup. The weak link's definitely these Barton blocks. No, just joking. These are pretty nice. Pretty much gone Barton on everything on the boat because it's a good, well-priced brand. So and yeah, they're quite nice. So using them. Right. So got the boom on here with a kicker, and also the back here I've also put this rope in so I can tie the sail back. One day I could eventually do like a slit in the bottom and have like a little cleat or something there, because it's like on a little pulley thing, so I could do it down to the bottom and have something so I can actually put it back, but I've got to tie it back, which isn't the end of the world. Kicker up here, and I'm just going to get the sail on for one final try before we go out sailing, just to try it with battens and get it to roll round, because then I'll just leave it rolled around the boom ready for when I go out sailing. Won't have to get it out of the bag and put it on every time. It's just simple. Take it out, slot this in, and do the front bit of the sail to this, and just send it up the mast. Alright, that's it for this episode. Let me know what you think of my round the boom furling. I quite like it, and I think it's going to be quite useful on the water. Very different from my normal slab reefing, but this is the only boat that I'm going to have that's going to have it, so it's worth a try and to play with. So yeah, let me know what you think down below, and we've only got one more episode before the first sail of 2020, although it was late 2020 for reasons you may already know. But we get out on the water and we have a good time, and there'll be lots of sailing videos to come, so stick around for that, and I'll catch you in the next one.